Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I got everything I needed. Tried some trail mix. Didn't have any chocolate or anything like that. It's like some type of, I don't know. I'm trying it out. It's got like cranberries in it. I really like cranberries. Hopefully my body and my stomach takes well to it. But if anything, I just wanted some type of extra different type of snack. Because with my diet being as it has been, I just honestly feel like something new needs to be in there, creating a bit of a different feel. My doctor, I spoke with her yesterday actually, and she said that she was going to subscribe to me 2 vitamins because I was low on some type of acid or something like that. So yeah, that's what I forgot to mention, that I did speak with my doctor, and she said that everything came out pretty good. I've been eating very well, but with the changes to my diet, or whether with the restrictions to my diet, she was expecting to see some deficiencies with certain things. And she mentioned 2 things, that one I was very low on and one I was just fairly low on. So some type of acid, I wasn't really familiar, but yeah, I haven't gotten my prescription yet, but she's gonna give me that. And then from there, she told me to connect with the gastroenterologist, whatever, gas doctor basically. And so I set an appointment with them for next week. I guess it's gonna be a phone consulting appointment. But what they're really gonna have to do is kind of just do a bunch of tests to kind of see what's going on in there in my stomach. And then from there, set an appointment this morning with my doctor of another phone conversation with her in April to reconvene in regards to what they find with whatever the process will be with them. So it seems like it's many steps before seeing my gastroenterologist. It's not just as simple as setting up an appointment and going down there. They're supposed to be calling me today to prep me for the phone call next week. I guess ask me a bunch of questions. I give them information. So then I would be talking to them in regards to that consulting conversation, with hopes of being, given an appointment to actually do physical tests. So it's a lot of steps, man. I don't really know what's next, but other than to say I'll be available for those phone calls. So yeah, that's really what it is, man. Just trying to do what I need to do for my health, man. So at the end of the day, you got to take care of your health. You can be in a good exercise space and diet space, but if you have something wrong with you like I do, it's your gut and all that, it don't matter how well you take care of yourself, your body's still going to deteriorate to some degree, and that's ultimately what we're trying to prevent, especially at this age. So, and I'm very happy with my doctor. Her name is Dr. Della Certa. I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but she's really cool, man. And it's one of those situations where I hope to make her my primary doctor. I don't know if there's any steps to do that, or if she's automatically assigned to me now. I'm not really sure, but I prefer it. Her going forward, and just try to get my health taken care of. Do what I should have been doing for the last several years. I'm mature enough of a person to understand the importance of taking the steps, and I wasn't in the past, and that's really what it is, the difference now for myself. So, my energy's been kind of dragging, man. Even in there, I just didn't have it for people, man. Usually I'm a bit more upbeat. I just don't have it. I was making my last video, stood there for an hour talking to you guys, just going off, man. And I want people to know I'm not wishing bad upon the world in any way. I just think that when you have these people who are in control of the world right now, with access to all of the access codes for all of these atomic bombs and missiles and stuff like that, what they've proven at this point is that they want the worst for the world. So it's not if they're going to rain hell above us, is when. At this point, that's how I look at it. But you start to understand these people, it's like, well, shoot, this earth and this society that we know, it probably ain't gonna be long for this earth. The stability that we've known all our lives in the Western world, I think it has an expiration date with these people in control of things. Because they want it to be their way or the highway, and we're not prone, humanity is not prone to allow them to be themselves without significant resistance. That's what they're going to come to understand. We're not prone to be the NPCs that they need us to be in order for them to carry out their plans and still hold on to society. Society will deteriorate if we see enough of what it is they're doing, and more people become aware of what it is that what I learned about these people, their intentions and their patterns, and as they're continuing to press the envelope, trying to get us further and further into a provoked mindset, making all types of mistakes and all that they want us to do, riot in the streets and be up in arms with one another for our differences. The more they provoke that, the more I see the continuation of patterns that I've seen in other situations, as we often talk about. And so at this point, it's not about whether or not they're going to start behaving in a way that is good, but more so how long it is before they destroy the world. And they're trying to bring about the presence of the Antichrist. That's what these people are trying to do. What they're going to find out is they are what they're trying to manifest. Nothing's coming. You are that. The essence of your presence is that. There's no anti-Messiah coming. You've arrived. That's what they don't understand. No mystical characters coming out of the sky to bring about the end of the world. It's their presence themselves trying to bring about that mystical creature that's going to bring about the end of the world. Well, the world as we know it. But as I told you on my previous video, I believe that humanity will survive. Humanity will survive and will have to learn how to live with itself post to what it is that they do to it. And they got control of the access codes, people. That's the bottom line. The worst people in the world have control of the most devastating tools that can be used against humanity. It's not if they're going to use them. It's when. At this point. And they're toying with humanity because they still feel like they can have this society be what they want it to be whilst doing the things that they want to do. That's what it is. They're still in a space where it's like, okay, let's enact our plans of psychological nonsense so that we can train the people to be comfortable with what it is that we want them to be comfortable with, so that we can enslave them. And then when we enslave them, we're bringing about some type of it's going to be a day where they realize that plan isn't going to work. How they react to that failure is ultimately what I'm concerned about. How they react to realizing that is not what comes of what it is they're doing is ultimately what I think could be potentially the worst of things, as it pertains to bombs bursting in air and missiles flying at our heads. I'm not as worried about the people they tell us to be worried about. Oh, be worried about those evil people in the Middle East. No. Not at all. In a lot of cases, those are God-fearing people. Like all God-fearing people, they're faced with the sin, nature, and fighting against, their poor own, behaviors. And like all of us, they have to overcome themselves, right? All of us have to overcome ourselves. Good people in this world are all faced with sin nature. Fighting against the flesh, fighting against devastation and the behaviors that come from depression, fighting against, isms and the chaos that can create it from wanting to be free, wanting to have our voices heard, wanting to be satisfied in whatever fashions, physical satisfaction, emotional satisfaction, identity vindication, if that's the right way to phrase it. Just wanting to be seen, heard, happy, have their dreams come true. Every human being has to live with themselves in regards to these things, and there's a fight within yourself to either feed your demons, so to speak, in this regard, or the discipline against it for the greater good. I think if people in the Middle East have anything that they are faced with, it's that. Just like people in the West. I don't think it's that much different, man. We all have to unlearn poor propaganda, find balance in what it is we're trying to do versus what it is that ultimately others are doing, or whatever the case may be. They find a balance in life. That's the human experience, human condition. Pursuit of life, love, and happiness, right? All of that. Very basic stuff. I don't think they're that much different than us in that regard. They want us to be afraid of these people because of the lies that they tell about these people. I think that it's rational to be afraid of these people because of what it is they're being provoked to do, which is attack us in the spirit of the people who poorly represent us. The same hate that's pointed at the innocent people in Israel is the same dangers that I think will be pointed at the innocent people in America. That the Israeli government and the worst of the Israeli people are standing in front of the good people, in front of the indifferent people, in front of the ignorant people, and saying, this is what we're about, hate us for it. This is what we're about, do something about it. Using people who are not invested in this as human shields. That's the same thing they're dealing with. It's the same thing we're going to be faced with. People wave both our flags in the name of the evil that they intend to do. Not necessarily asking any of us what we think about it. And then there are enemies, quote unquote enemies, people we're provoking. They are provoking in our name to use their mass destruction weapons against all of us. That's what it is. We all got to fight again. We all have to more or less be concerned with that being our reality. And I want to tell all of you guys, it's why you'll never hear me saying bomb Israel. It's why you'll never hear me saying destroy Israel. Because there are people there that don't deserve to be destroyed. Now, you can argue and make a very strong argument that they should be forced to leave that place, the good ones and the bad ones, because that's somebody else's land. But then I will tell you to pack your bags too, American, and get your ass up out of here too, because this ain't your land. You stole that from good people, and it should be returned to them. If we're going to force everybody to leave Israel as an Israeli settlement land, don't think that it's going to be fine that you stay your ass in America after doing so. That's what I want to say to every single body in this world. Because I ain't got no problem looking at what's going on in Israel and saying, yo, you stole that from individuals who didn't do anything to you. You stole that land. But understand that I would be a hypocrite if I didn't look at my fellow American and say the exact same thing. Because I'm hearing a lot of American people saying, yo, the settlers in Israel need to leave. Or they continue to occupy stolen land. Nah, fam. Don't ask for me to find balance there if you ain't going to try to find balance here. Oh, it's been 500 years. I don't give a shit. It's been 75 years over there. All of y'all need to leave stolen land. And none of y'all going to. I don't know that is the responsible solution as a descendant of settlers, as a descendant of enslaved people who built upon stolen land. I don't think that's a very responsible position to take. I really don't. Nor should I say to say solution is bringing balance. If anything, it just shows that you could steal somebody's land, let some time pass, and then all is forgiven because time heals all wounds. It doesn't heal shit. What it does is create the guise of acceptability in the absence of accountability. which inspires more of the same behavior to be handled the same way. I will not co-sign that, America. I will not co-sign that. It becomes a conversation about balance and accountability and what is worth to all of us. What is it worth to all of us? Balance and accountability. If I'm gonna look over here and say they did some awful stuff that I can't get with, if we did the same thing in this place, then if we're not seeking balance, then any of the things that we try to hold others accountable for deteriorates. All of it. Either we do it in both places or don't expect for anyone who's onlooking to respect that we're doing it in one place and not the other. You will hold no credibility amongst the world you're in. I don't believe in a two-state solution at all in Israel. That is Palestine. You understand what I'm saying to you? That is Palestine. I don't want anybody to get twisted what I'm saying here. That's Palestine. Just because some white, important, rich people decided to alter reality with their intentions did not mean that their intentions can alter the reality of God's intentions himself. That is Palestine. There. That is Palestine. I don't care how many people, colonial people, agree to lie. It doesn't change the reality of what it is. You stole it. You harmed people, innocent people who didn't deserve it, in order to do so. And then from there, you're trying to normalize such behaviors in the avoidance of accountability and continuation of those same practices to be done in new lands by your same people. That is what you're trying to do. And you will not normalize that amongst the righteous and the unselfish and those balancing their desire for power and the responsible. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot normalize that, because the logic deteriorates when it's done in other areas. And the presence of elitism and those being more important than others based on certain things that they have no control over deteriorates in the character of each and every individual when measured against one another. This is the reality of the deterioration of the logic of elitism. When you weigh one person against another person, some people handle pressure a little better than others. Some people have a bit better cleanliness habits. Some people understand things better. Some people are quicker to understanding knowledge or understanding methods or counting or whatever. It deteriorates when you start measuring them against one another. It deteriorates when you start measuring them against others of whom you've left outside of that elite bubble. They don't measure up to the elite over there in whatever it is that ultimately the measures are. And so when you start saying that all of these people deserve to be treated better because they look a certain way, when you treat them all that way, you're going to have some things go wrong because of it. The logic deteriorates, and that's why balance and a clean slate of accountability should be the only measure. Because it's the only thing that's going to add up. It's the only thing that's going to add up against all measures is a clean slate of balance, accountability, clean slate of treating everybody with respect to the validity of their differences. Not being lazy in your thinking by shoving people in certain groups based on certain things that they have no control over. Just because you have a difficulty in identifying people unless you do so does not mean that you're going to be accurate in your assessment when trying to make sense of the world that way. You never have, and you will not going forward. Not all these people do that thing. Not all those people think this way. Not all those people pray this way. Not all those people are going to assess problems the same way. You can stifle off human beings into these groups. But you're going to find individuals that don't fit the criteria that you're hoping to make sense of. And human beings need to evolve in that regard. We are not what our representative skin color looks like in behaviors of people who share our skin color. I'm different. That person's different than me. These people may be different than them. It's not a perfect science when you look at people that way. And furthermore, when you try to make some sense of how to treat people based on them categories, you fail. Your mathematics deteriorate, your logic deteriorates. And it's not going to age well. Those who want to erase history know a lot of their behaviors don't age well. They don't care. They just want what they want. They're selfish. They want to control what you think, because when you think, what it is that they control no longer stays intact. When you think for yourself, it disarms them and exposes the flaws in what it is that they're doing. So long as you think the way they want you to think, all of those things can be hidden. All those things can be masked. I'm telling all of us, man, that we need to find accountability within ourselves, because that's what's going to add up amongst everything else. We should be wanting to discipline ourselves against things that are bad for us and others, because that's what's going to measure up against everything else. Lies don't measure up. Falsehoods don't measure up. Lazy thinking doesn't measure up. The math does not math properly when you do it that way. And so this brings me back to my initial point. If I'm going to look at an occupied land, and I'm going to say that everybody who occupied that land must leave, but then going to sit here comfortably in occupied land and claim it's my own, that's not going to measure up. That doesn't work. Long term, measuring that against other things, when people try to figure out how to handle conundrums in the future, they're going to look at our behavior and find no solutions. Only more reasons to fight. They're going to look at Israel and they're going to say, well, they told them people to leave. And they're going to look at America and say, well, why didn't those people be forced to leave? So in our respective lands, I don't have to leave. They do. In their own times in the future. That's how they're going to assess things, based on what it is that we did in being lazy-minded, lacking accountability, and ultimate elitism. It's a poor example of how to handle problems of the future by forefathers who didn't care about the people of the future, who didn't fathom them enough to consider caring about those people in the future. And two, is the behavior of some of our forefathers in our regard. They didn't even care about us. They didn't think to care for us. Because they were too busy focused on the times they were in and what it is they wanted. They didn't care about how that trickled down for their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids, and further generations down their lineage. They did not care. And so too are a lot of the people doing things the wrong way today. They don't care about their kids. They don't care about the future generations. They don't care about the conundrums and the trauma and the 100-year wars they could be creating with today's behaviors. They don't care about the lies they tell and how they tumble forward to be so many unnecessary problems for people that don't even exist yet. They don't care. And I'm telling you, I do. And I'm telling you, I fathom them. I already see them warring over some of these same lands long after we've died, doing some of these same things that cause us a lot of grief, causing themselves even more. I see that already. I see that in my mind's eye. I'm not going to let that go. I see the mistakes my forefathers made when they didn't think of me. Doing whatever they were doing that created problems, that created examples of how to mistreat me today and how to mistreat my brothers today. I see that already. I understand the resentment that comes from enslaving a people for 400 years. I understand that. I don't think you should do it to somebody else tomorrow. There's some mistakes that were made that didn't take into account things that did transpire that ultimately caused suffering. That is not a happenstance. Those are issues created by people who provided examples of how to do things the wrong way. And they will disgrace you in the future for creating these problems for them. They will tear down your statues. They will condemn your name. Even if you go to your grave being heralded as a great person. If you pass down things that ultimately created problems for them, they will erase you from the history books. They will disgrace you in the history books they read. So I want to tell a lot of these Zionists right now, some of these individuals, irresponsible and indifferent ancestors to future generations, your children, when they live through what it is that you ultimately are leaving for them to live through, they will look back and condemn you. And your forefathers will be condemned too. Slave owners that are still heralded as great individuals, colonial figures that are passing forward poor practices which are going to cause a great deal of pain going forward. Those individuals will be condemned by our kids in the future. Those are them who survived the terror that ultimately we pass forward to them. I'm telling you, a lot of y'all doing what y'all doing because y'all think y'all gonna be heralded as great men. Some of y'all think that because you erase what's going on in history books and try to silence those who are telling the truth to now, right now, that you will go into your graves as great men. That you will be able to tell the stories of what happens tomorrow because you erase any chance of us understanding today, tomorrow. It's a fallacy. As a fallacy. That's what I want some of these people, that's what I want them to understand. You elite who are trying to erase the past, thinking you can control the future with a clean slate, doing bad math. You don't even know where all the history is buried. Some of the stuff that you need to get rid of, you don't even know it's there. That's the beauty of God. That's the beauty of God. Y'all think y'all can erase history books and dig up old artifacts and destroy them and various different things, thinking you can get rid of any history that would otherwise display the patterns that you engage in, to show the world that what you're doing is new and isn't old plays being run by the same devil in a different form. Trust me when I tell you this. You don't even know where everything is in order to effectively accomplish that. And you won't find it. But the people you're hoping to hide the truth from will. They're going to find themselves right in position to find what it is that ultimately you don't know is there, that will ultimately expose all that is there to learn about you and those who taught you how to do what you did. That is the reality of a living God. He knows exactly what to do to expose the truth. You can hide as much of it as you want to. It's not going to change the fact that it is there in the spaces that you don't even know to go to, in the spaces you can't even reach. Teach us all we need to be taught. Praise God. And that's what I want these people to understand. They're not going to try to erase the history of slavery. Oh, we're going to get rid of all the plaques. We're going to erase the slavery from the history books. We can't talk about slavery. We don't want to talk about it. We won't talk about it. We can't talk about it. Yeah, we are talking about it. Some of that stuff you don't even have access to. You don't even know where everything is to erase the history of slavery. Some of that stuff is at the bottom of the ocean. Spaces you can't reach, but your kids will be able to. Some of them bodies buried in unmarked graves. You're not even poking around in the right spaces. I just want white supremacy to understand something. You're not as smart as you believe yourself to be. You're not in touch with the Lord like you need to be in order to defeat him. You're not special as you believe yourself to be. You are not a responsible and honorable ancestor. You are none of those things. The devil does not keep any of his promises and loves to betray those who work for him, as you do. Your perception of people of color is not what the Lord actually has there for them, what is actually within them, what represents what it is that they are. You trying to erase their understanding of who they are does not change what they are, and that they'll stumble into that truth anyway. Their connection with God is much stronger than your connection to the devil you serve. Their compassion holds a different worth than what it is you perceive. The alignment of their genius is far beyond your understanding to comprehend properly, despite you believing otherwise, despite you believing the opposite. You fail to even possess the context to properly perceive them, which is why you believe what you believe about them. And it is the presence of you serving an enemy that ultimately keeps you from the blessings we provide. The goodness inside of all of us. Most of us. I ain't gonna say all. Some of us align with your practices. But I can assure you, if you erase the world of melanin, so too you will erase any path you have towards surviving what's coming for you. You will need us to survive what it is that ultimately you're manifesting with the evil that you do. That the world will not see a single trace of you if you get rid of us. That not only will all of you be erased, but any memory of what you were, any evidence of what you were too, will be erased with you. If you remove melanin from this earth, you won't exist either. There's something in us that you don't know is there, but you can feel is there, which is why you hate us so much. And we can forgive you all the evil that you do because it's in us. We look at it, a lot of us look at that as a weakness. And we believe that is a weakness. But the reality is it's a strength that the enemy does not possess. Amongst many strengths that we have that he does not have. That he doesn't even know what he's looking at when he sees it. That he can't feel it in his presence despite his spiritual strength. He has numbed off all parts of that with the intentions that he's had for the years that he's existed against us. He can't feel the goodness in us. It's impossible for him to understand what it is that we ultimately bring to the earth and how important it is to his existence and to his survival. A lot of people are going to look at me and say, you're wrong for saying this. This is wrong. You shouldn't say these things. I will say that the truth is always something that the enemy wants to run from. Especially if it humbles him. Especially if it holds him accountable. That they are always running from the truth. Now, whether they believe they can handle it or not, they're going to try to avoid it. And it's just the devil within them that tries to keep them from the truth so that they won't be disarmed of that for which aligns with him. Just like they try to defeat the truth around us so that we will be aligned with them. They're a reflection of who it is they serve. That's why I want to tell every black person, every person of color in this world, no matter what region you're from, that you can never connect to white supremacy on a multitude of levels why that may be the case. There's a multitude of reasons of why that can't be, no matter how much you try to align with it. No matter how much you try to kiss its boot, it will never welcome you. It will always want you to destroy more of yourself and then destroy yourself thereafter. That is all it wants you to do. They don't have no love for you. It's not capable of loving you. You are not what you are in its eyes. You are something other, something beneath it, something that is put here for two reasons: to make it feel inadequate and to serve it. That's the lens from which they see you, black person. You serve it and you make it feel worse about its existence. Otherwise, there's nothing else you really bring to this table. That's the lens from the devil that served and the ancestors served. The wickedness that they've been committed to for thousands of years makes them see you that way. It's not a choice they make. It's a trait. Keeps them from seeing greatness or being great. There's going to be a lot of my white brothers and sisters that are very much going to be turned off by what I just said. And I respect that. From within your position, that is completely acceptable. But I will tell you the truth. No lies. Y'all, though not clear to every one of you, have been serving Satan for a very long time. And what we see in the Zionist Jews and Israelis is not limited to just them. This is the entirety of white supremacy in every faction that is found on this earth. It has always started with a sacrifice of integrity and innocence to the enemy. And whatever derived after that is just that. What came after that? First was a devotion to the devil and a sacrifice of innocence. Many families come from that. This isn't hate I'm spewing, this is truth. This is God-given truth, embedded in me to directly oppose the enemy of God. I've been right about a lot of things I've said. This is yet another one. If you erase all Zionist Jews, you will still be faced with the truth that white supremacy will live on in other factions of these people, man. That is a truth. And I get chills when I say it. Because a lot of people think that if you erase the Zionist entity of white supremacy, that you have erased the people of the enemy. That is not the case. That is not the case. That is one branch. And I want white people to know this, white settlers of America to know this. When you take pride in settler colonialism, and a lot of you do, you need to understand that there are a few of us who have this understanding about what it is you truly are. That is devil worship. You intend to sin unapologetically, get away with it, and then normalize it. That is Satan in a nutshell. That is what he does. And he let time heal all wounds in that regard. Oh, I did it 400 years ago, so it's not something you need to be holding me accountable for now. Yeah, I know. In the absence of accountability is your life's blurred. And giving the spirit of that energy an opportunity to see it work yet again, to be done a different day. There is no Israel without first the betrayal of the Native Americans in America. And prior to that, because the devil is not a creative, I'm willing to bet he did this somewhere else before here. And before that, he did that somewhere else before there. That's what I want people to understand. You got to denounce these colonial practices if you truly want to do away with the evil that birthed this behavior. You got to denounce it. You got to quote unquote condemn it. Since the enemy keeps on showing me that power in condemnation, it values condemnation so much within its own bull crap. It obviously shown me an imprint for what it is I should value on my end of the side. You got to put that stuff in its place from within those who benefit from it the most. You got to denounce white supremacy and all colonial practices. You got to be absolutely desiring of accountability and balance amongst people. You got to want from within yourself, because of the consequences that come from bringing balance, that balance. It doesn't feel good to feel like you're on par with everybody else when you've been above others all this time, but you never were. It was a creation of imbalance. Things had to go absolutely wrong. People had to be treated absolutely horribly so that the guise of that reality could be embedded in all of y'all who believe it. It is not a real thing. You were never better than those people, and you never needed to be. That desire within you to be better than others was always meant for the deterioration of your reputation, of your environments, and ultimately of the world itself. And as long as y'all continue to desire that from within yourselves, as individuals or as collectives, you're going to continue to give birth to the same evil that ultimately was created long ago. That keeps getting repeated. That's what it is that I find a solution. It's not a solution, a two-state solution. That's not a solution. No. It's a denouncing of these behaviors within every human being that benefits from it. It's a desire to find accountability and to pay the toll, whatever that looks like, to make it right. Whatever that looks like, since you're willing to sacrifice so much to assure that this imbalance remains, so too will be your need to sacrifice to bring about that balance the same. And do I trust that you're strong enough to do that? Nah, I don't. But it's not for me to then go forward as if that's the truth. It's for you to prove me wrong. Just like you don't believe I'm any better than I am, I can prove you that I am, so too can you prove to me that you are willing or strong enough to do what it is that I believe you will not. Consider it a challenge, not a declaration of what is, and that I do not believe you are strong enough to denounce white supremacy, white people. I do not believe you are strong enough to overcome that forever need to be better than me. I don't think you're strong enough to do that. I don't think there's enough damage that can be done to your comfort zone for you to denounce a desire to be on par with everybody else for the betterment of any damn thing. I don't. Maybe a few of y'all. And that's a beautiful thing. But as a collective, to put down your demonic ways in that regard, no, I don't believe I would do that. I don't believe it. So that's really what I want to say, man. I hope y'all take this as a challenge. I hope that there are generations of people who will hear what I have to say many years from now and will see the fruit in taking on that challenge. You know what I'm saying? It's going to put us through a lot of crap, man. I just want to tell people, like, as I said in my last video, I think white supremacy's desire to be better than people of color is going to put us through a lot more damage. We're not done suffering because it is. We're going to keep suffering because it is. Y'all gonna suffer. Many generations, if you let it happen, gonna suffer because it is. This story just getting started. The lesson that humanity has to learn hasn't been learned yet. Y'all still doing the same evil stuff. Y'all still passing forward the same comfort in behaving imbalanced. Y'all don't get it yet. No, it's gonna be a lot more suffering, a lot more generations of suffering that's gonna come from this demon that y'all gotta keep feeding to be better than people of color. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to stop suffering until you put that crap down, man. You're not gonna stop influencing suffering until you put that crap down. You gotta want to, man. You gotta unlearn a lot of things to develop the desire to want to, I believe. But you gotta want to. That's what it really comes down to. You gotta want to stop promoting these cultures that ultimately put some people above others for whatever reasons, man. That accountability should be something you desire. I'm telling you. Just as y'all desire so many different things to feed yourselves, feed y'all demons. Y'all should be craving that like you crave money, like you crave so many different things that y'all crave. A desire and an understanding that wisdom should, and ethics and a good reputation and compassion should be desired just as passionately as y'all going after status, fame, property. Ancient accountability avoidance methods and tactics and seances or whatever y'all, all these different things y'all crave, sacrificing to that for which allows for you to be your evil selves. There's a consequence that comes from being evil that you've yet to learn, that is undesirable. And until you start learning those lessons, until you're faced with the reality of those behaviors, you're going to continue to go down this path of worshiping the devil in quiet, standing behind things that are representing the Lord, continuing to wage war against the Lord as if he is your enemy. No, your desire to be this way is your enemy. That's your enemy, not God. God's trying to hold you accountable and make you do things the right way so that you can stop the path of the suffering you're going to create for yourselves and others. So you can redirect your reputation as human beings, as ancestors. That's what he's trying to course you toward. A better path to tomorrow instead of what it is that you're willing to happen. For which is deeply, deeply regrettable. That context is lacking. And it's to all of our detriment that you continue to be this way, white supremacy. Bdf 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.